live somewhere scenic and charming. Established in 1930, Seattle's Lake Ridge neighborhood advertised as the most outstanding single residential development in all the Northwest. A place where today, the neighborhood hasn't changed much, even 100 years later.
I can't live in this area.
George Carter plays in a regular pickup pickleball game at the Lake Ridge playfield.
Oh my God.
So does Nicholas Wynn. They love living in this part of Seattle, but that would not have been possible when this area was developed.
Said lots or lots shall not be sold, nor rented or leased to any person not of the white race.
Wow.
Nor shall any person not of the white race be permitted to occupy any lots.
Wow.
This land shall never be occupied, sold, or given to Negroes or any person or persons of the Negro blood. Not of the white race be permitted to occupy any portion except a domestic servant.
Okay, I can be a butler.
For decades, so-called restrictive or protective homeowner agreements, sometimes detailed in the fine print, but not always hidden, were outlawed in the 1960s. They are not enforceable today, but they remain on the books.
I'm angry. I don't know about you.
I don't feel very good about it. I grew up in the South, so not too much surprised me.
Born in Mississippi, Carter, now 78, will never forget Jim Crow laws.
You can't drink out their fountain, and you can't go to their bathroom, or you can't sit, you buy your food, go to the restaurant, you go to the back door and buy your food.
You remember that?
Oh yes, I grew up with it.
The retired Seattle firefighter moved to the Northwest, hoping he'd be treated better.
I don't even think they have something like this in Mississippi.
These racial restrictive covenants were used as a tool of segregation.
Graduate students from the University of Washington and Eastern Washington University are heading up a state-funded project to examine homeowner agreements and neighborhood restrictions, looking for racist language. Like the Bellevue development originally sold only to members of the Aryan race, or a section in the heart of Capitol Hill prohibiting residents of Negro blood.
Something you find today might end up as a dot on this map.
There are so many documents to go through. The students are training volunteers, extra sets of eyes, to help sift through the old records.
I just found one, two actually.
Rachel Brown at Seattle's Davis Wright Tremaine law firm.
This contract is not assignable to any Asiatic or colored person without the written consent of the vendors.
Is one of the 600 volunteers helping expose secrets of the Northwest's past.
It's incredibly difficult to really see, systemic racism playing out in these documents that are in front of me on my screen.
The official practice of segregation promoted by the federal government, state governments, that's part of our history as much as it's part of Mississippi's history.
University of Washington history professor James Gregory started the research in 2005. Since then, his students and volunteers have found more than 25,000 properties with racial restrictions in Western Washington so far.
Most of the records are still on microfilm, and that's hard. That takes eyeballs and hours of looking through reels and reels of microfilm for these restrictions. So we're a long way from finishing with some counties.
The state funding runs out next summer. Professor Gregory says he plans on returning to Olympia to try to get the project fully funded. The bill's original sponsor, Representative Javier Valdez, says this work is long overdue and he will push to get additional funding when lawmakers return here next January.
We owe it to our fellow citizens not to waltz through life ignorant about inequalities that still matter. That come from history but still matter.
We can't forget our past.
George Carter could not have lived in the place he calls home today. That angers him, but he says it's not surprising. All his life, whether in the South or the Northwest, he's felt like he was on the outside looking in.
People up here, they camouflage it. People in the South, they don't. That's the difference. You know where you stand. Up here, people laugh in your face and stab you in the back.